2012 was my life-changing event. My life up to this day was as a husband, father, project coordinator, and someone that rode their bicycle a lot. I was always trying to squeeze every minute out of every day. June 30th, 2012 was my 49th birthday. That weekend had lots of biking, rock climbing, and out dancing with friends. The following weekend, my wife needed to go out of town for work. At this point, I didn't have a thought in the world other than spending the next week with my 7-year-old daughter. That Saturday morning, I woke up to my daughter hogging the bed. But other than that, I was thinking of what would be fun for the day. Little did I know what was in store for me. After sitting up, I was aware something wasn't right. I had been dizzy before, but this was crazy extreme. I tried to stand up, but very quickly I realized I had something going on. I thought maybe I was dying. This is what it felt like. At this time, I had no idea what a stroke was or what the symptoms of a stroke even were. I laid down and things became very peaceful. Then all of a sudden it passed. What it left me with was double vision, and I kept repeating my words. After a call to my wife, she realized something was serious. She called the neighbor to drive me to the hospital. Once at Beaumont, I was envisioning that I was either in real trouble or I'd be leaving soon to play with my daughter, Peyton. As I looked up, I noticed I was seeing one clock on the wall again. I thought, it must be getting better. Maybe it was just a one-time thing. Then I remember waking up to my wife, daughter, and sister at this time. I was still the Tim I knew. The next thing I remember is sort of falling down the rabbit hole. I recall my bed being rolled here and there, but I couldn't tell you much more than that. When I woke up later, I noted my arm didn't work, then fell back to sleep. For my wife, it was that your husband has had a stroke, and the next couple of hours will tell us where he is at physically and mentally. While I was sleeping, my face and arm started getting the feeling back. At first, I could feel my arm, but there was no way of controlling it. Just due to how much my hand was shaking all over due to the lack of control I had of it. What really hit me was hearing I had a stroke. And the immediate thing was the ringing in my ear. The next few days was learning of all the things that had changed and how much different it would be going forward. Having the inpatient therapy was eye-opening to where I was at this point. But it was the path to returning to the world I knew. The therapists really were more than just educated individuals in this field, but they were also very emotional piece of my recovery. I cannot say, and especially now as I look back, how important it was to have my wife spending the night with me just to hold my hand. It made me feel as if I was still part of this world regardless of who I become. My sister trying to convince me in the sweetest way I wasn't a monster. This was due to I was convinced that I had turned into a monster. The first few days, all I wanted was to be back out there. I'd look out the window and I needed to be back out there where there were people outside driving and going about their day-to-day life. A couple of days later, I overheard talk of being released. I was scared to death. How was my family going to deal with this 6'2" toddler that was for my daughter is now watching over this sensitive, tall kid? Our 7-year-old could see I wasn't the adult anymore, so all her questions went to the nanny. And when I would try to set boundaries, she would always look at the nanny for guidance. When I tried to be more of the father adult, I had no inflection in my voice, so it would come off way too strong and hurt my daughter's feelings. My wife, along with my speech therapist, would work with trying to get the tonality back in my voice. I loved all those special moments we shared as a family, from walking around the block hourly to me walking around the block without the walker. It was a goal of mine, and if you know me, I'm pretty driven. My sister helped me with not walking like Frankenstein around the block, her noting, "Swing your arms," she would tell me. To walking to the local restaurant for dinner every night and eventually ordering for myself. I really enjoyed having outpatient therapy. It really gave me so much, from working with incredible therapists / wonderful people. I really felt that these individuals had a great understanding and knowledge in this field. When I first started with my PT, I had a hard time walking and turning my head at the same time. Every exercise that I was aligned to, I could see my body relearning and regaining the muscle connection. I could see all the activities were exactly what my body and brain needed. Day by day, I could see and feel the improvements. Within weeks, my strength and coordination was improving. Step by step, I went from a toddler physically to getting back on the bike again. When I first started with my OT, I couldn't sign my name. She knew the perfect exercises to gain the strength back that I needed. When I was looking at driving again, they had numerous computer-generated exercises along with hand-eye coordination exercises that aligned perfectly. I could get emotional at a drop of a hat at times, and 99% of the public didn't understand, so there was lots of stares. Crying at any moment or being sad at any given second was so how I hadn't been living my life up to this point. My first time back to work to visit, I started crying, which around a bunch of guys that never show their feelings made everyone very uncomfortable. They were all being very supportive, but didn't know how to react when I broke down. I broke out crying at my first haircut, and they were looking at each other like, "What did we do? What did we do?" And it also sent the nanny racing back to pick me up. Now I'm back to my old ways, very guarded with my feelings, and in a way I'm saddened by it. Now when I look back, and I can really appreciate being able to feel those emotions and let myself feel them and express them. When the time came to start thinking about going back to work, started floating around in my head, which was exciting and scary at the same time. I felt like I was getting better every day, but I knew in my brain I still had a lot of struggles. This is where, again, Beaumont outpatient therapy was magical. I was still working with my speech therapist, and she gave me strategies to align to. Speech had so many exercises that aligned perfectly, from reading with recalling segments of what I read to working on the computer with numerous programs that were designed for brain scientific training. There was also a brain training workbook. When speech would give me homework from it, it became the first time in my life I looked forward to and enjoyed homework. My OT had me doing day-to-day activities that was giving me confidence. When the date was set to go back to work, I felt confident I could do this. There was some things that I just had to take the leap and believe. Some of the tougher things, driving to work by myself, my wife and I had practiced this along with the coordination skills I had done with OT really helped, but doing it for real was a lot mentally. Attending and talking in my first work meetings, I still had a small speech thing that in a group of professionals I was very aware of. After reviewing all the steps of going back to work with my speech therapist, we had aligned strategies for most situations, but being there and living it added 10%, 20% to everything. The one thing that was my little heaven was going to the back to work group. I love that everyone in this group has been there or going through it. B, the members of the group are sweet, thoughtful, and just amazing people. C, It is a place once a month for me to completely relax. All day and every day, whether I'm at work, with fellow employees or customer reps, and even with friends, I always feel I'm being looked at as the guy who had a stroke. Everyone has their vision of what a person that has had a stroke looks like. I feel like I need to perform at my highest level to prove to them all I'm okay. Yes, I can work on your project. Yes, I can read and go through contracts and invoices on your project with knowing if I slip an inch would bring, maybe Tim isn't the right guy for my project. With friends, it feels like they are trying to understand to what level of competence I'm at, especially if it has the kids involved. The group feels like the family that I can just breathe and be me. If I stumble with my words or I cannot find the right words, it's okay. Whether I sit and just listen to the group or share an experience, I truly love every minute being there. In closing, I would like to note I would like to note that I have found that in life things come to you at the perfect time if you're open to it. It might be in the words in a song. It may be the way a blue jay looks at you. This time for me, I was reading the book, The Four Agreements. And this passage hit me at the perfect time. When you surrender and let go of the past, you allow yourself to be fully alive in the moment. Letting go of the past means you can enjoy the dream that is happening right now. If you live in a past dream, you don't enjoy what is happening right now because you will always wish it to be different. A month either before or after this moment of time wouldn't have had the same connection. In my early recovery, I kept comparing everything I was doing to what I used to do. This inevitably led to disappointment no matter how big or great a day I had. This passage seemed to put the This passage seemed to be put in the book just for me. I feel good, and I'm totally okay with being Tim Keffer, the guy that's standing here in front of you right now. Thank you.